All right, welcome to this special committee of the whole meeting. It is Monday, February 24th at 5:03 p.m. Addie, would you call the roll?
Just give me a second. Yep. Cobb.
Present.
Huda.
Here.
Etris.
Here.
Larson. Here. Maddox.
Here.
Russell. Posh.
Here.
All right, Councilman, Vice President Russell is excused. We have two items on the agenda. We're going to go into executive session in a minute, and we also have a budget adjustment for 5 police cars and the retrofitting of those cars. So I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session to consider the sale or lease of city-owned real property.
So moved. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. That was a first. Where's the second?
All right, that sounds good.
Second? Okay. Cobb.
Aye.
Huda.
Aye.
Etris.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Maddox.
Aye.
Posh.
All right, we're going into executive session. When we come out, we're going to have a legislative review. Okay, we're back from executive session. We have 3 items on the agenda that we're going to discuss, and then we have a meeting where we're actually going to vote, I guess.
Maybe.
No, we can try to do that. So the first is ordinance 30/2025, an ordinance to repeal and replace certain subparagraphs of ordinance number 265/2024. Basically, this is a budget adjustment. Yes.
Do we,
No, we never got the exhibit, so I'm not. I'll let. I mean, Chris, say if we can do what we can do about that or not.
No, we don't have the, we would need the spreadsheet, the backup draft and the, not cash flow statement, the cash position statement that goes along with it. But really, we just need that main spreadsheet that,
list the appropriations?
yeah.
Okay, what's the amount?
It is 1.6 for the for the Seagrave fire pump truck, and then the total amount.
Which we don't need additional legislation for, because that was already passed. You can already
Right.
pass that.
Right.
Okay. The 5 cars and the upfitting.
That was.
$237,704.40 for the Fords.
The actual purchase of the vehicles.
Okay.
And
And
then
then-
additional.
For the first stage of upfitting, it is $73,533.85. So the total budget adjustment is for line item 402, 7201, 3004, capital equipment is $311,238.25.
So that's for the
Any questions on, we're gonna get into the other 2 pieces.
So there's no exhibit. The legislation references an exhibit. So can we vote on it if there's no exhibit, especially given that the legislation references an exhibit?
Not in this case, because the legislation, we would have to amend the legislation further because it contemplates repealing and replacing the original version. And so we actually need a full printout of all the funds in order to do that.
I mean,
If we-
I typed up that original temporary budget, so I could amend it. Like I could change my numbers in there if that's what's holding us up here.
Well, let me just ask this question. If we voted on this on March 3rd, would we lose anything?
This is the question.
Oh, wait.
Yes, I think you would. The pricing and the ability to order the 5 vehicles.
When's the expiration? I thought it was after March 3rd.
It was after, at the end of this month. They're actually extending the pricing to the end of this month.
All right, so,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
all right, so
Why don't we have an exhibit?
well,
I don't know the answer.
I wasn't entirely sure, like the sort of the 3-month budget piece is sort of not in our system. So I really don't know how law was working through that with sort of developing the legislation. From my perspective, I think there's probably an easier way to do it. And that way would just be to amend it, to add a section, instead of repealing and replacing, instead just add a section that indicates these particular additions to, the 402-7201 capital,
So
so on and so forth.
So the actual legislation would say
That the, that
you're
the,
adding that to
right.
that fund.
As opposed to just creating it either way, doesn't really matter. But the, if you wanted to amend the exhibit, that would be fine too.
Okay, so Patty, if you would have a few minutes, I'd be happy to we could pull up the document that I put together, input the new numbers, and then print it. So long as someone could tell us which specific lines need to be changed and the numbers they need to be changed to, we could use what we already have as the base.
Is that something you could do?
that's a function of finance.
Actually, I can provide that. If we're talking about these particular things, we have information about the budget adjustment for police, and if we're talking about fire,
Okay,
then that would be in the spreadsheet for the capital requests that we have already. So that would be department number 7301, Fund 402.
did you?
Right, we're talking, that's 1.14.
2 comes first and then the sub-account.
I don't have the temporary budget in front of me, but I'm assuming that but you'd have to, with the temporary budget, I imagine you'd have to add Fund 402. Because I don't think that, maybe it wasn't.
No, there is a total fund 402.
Okay,
How much do we want to increment it by?
well, it would be, my understanding would be $1.14 million for the fire engine in Department 7301, which is fire admin.
Okay.
And it's broken down, I'm assuming, by personal services, other than personal services, capital.
So it'd
So
be
you would
capital.
add a capital
Okay.
line for 1.140000.
Okay.
And then for the
Fire truck.
hybrid police vehicles, we'd be looking at Fund 402, Department 7201, which is police admin.
7201. Okay,
And so you would add a capital line for, let's see,
$319,209.
there you go.
I'm sorry,
That's the-
319?
The $319,209, that's the cost of the vehicles plus the outfitting.
Okay, that's the total.
No, that's, no.
Oh, looks like 311,238.25.
Yeah, that's what Chris just said.
Sorry,
Yeah, you had, there
311,
was a revised
225.
version I sent out.
$311,238.25.
So 239. Just saying. And did I send you the Word version?
I don't think so, but I can double check to see. Let's
Do
see.
you have Acrobat?
I can do it. I can do it. And we're gonna convert the amended version, the one, because we did that one amendment, correct, already?
Yes.
So, okay.
Okay, so I think we can work on this and then,
And then, just so I understand this, can we do the other two pieces of legislation?
If we do this, then yes.
That's okay. So while they're working on that, are there any questions about, let me make sure. Wait a second. So 31-2025 is the resolution to buy the 5 hybrid 2025 Ford utility hybrid police interceptors, and then 32-2025 is the upfitting for those vehicles, for those 5 vehicles. Any questions about that? Yes.
Just a statement that as of September 30th, Fund 402, which is Finance Capital Projects, which is what we're going to take this money from, had a balance of $8,821,232. So there is enough money in there.
Yeah.
But that was as of September 30th last year.
That's correct. That's all we have.
Yeah.
Well, any of this would have to get a fiscal officer certificate as well, in order to move forward with the purchases at all. If that money is not available, it will not move forward.
We can still vote on it tonight, though.
You're talking about when somebody signs off on it, it has, okay.
10264.
Yeah, the mistake I caught was fixed earlier, so I don't have any questions. Anybody else?
I might add that this all came up in the Finance Committee meeting last week when we were talking about capital budget, and it seemed like it was something that we wanted to do as a committee and needed to do as a group. Most of us were here from council to get this order in the process. So that's why we're doing this
Well,
evening.
it came up in November too.
Right, but this specific purchase of the second 5 hybrid cars, vehicles, and that fire engine were part of the 2025 budget. We just want to make sure that we purchase it this first quarter rather than waiting.
All right, so any other questions about these 2 pieces of legislation? The 5 vehicles, the upfitting. Hearing none, I would like to adjourn this meeting unless there's anything else for the good of the order. Well, there is.
Just want
Yes.
to make sure that everybody is aware there's a Finance Committee meeting tomorrow at 3:00. We'll be talking about the 2025 budget. That's it, thank you.
I will be on the Zoom for that one for a little bit of it. And then I'm coming straight in.
And then you'll come in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and Councilwoman Larson, did we get any information okay, because we're still waiting for,
We got your email. We're gonna send you some information tonight.
okay,
You can have it ready for tomorrow. You just- That's.
no, that's good to know. If it happens today, then there's at least, even tonight, there's at least that opportunity to look for it. I mean, it's just hard when you're, I don't mean to Pollyanna, it's just, when you get handed something and then you're at a meeting, it's too difficult to digest material and talk about it at the same time. All right, so it might take a few minutes to get the this legislation together, but we are gonna adjourn this meeting and move to the go ahead.
I don't know if now, so just bring this up quickly. Are there any adjustments we need for your meeting right after this meeting? Or are we good? I know you are on a time constraint, and I know the public is watching all these come through and we're behind, but I don't know if there's anything.
No, for just anyone that's watching, I don't know how much of the Administrative Services Committee agenda we're going to get through this evening. I've got a hard stop. So once we get started, I'll know how long we're gonna be, because I've got to remain around for that vote.
Well, we won't be, I don't think we'll be in council chambers that long, but you probably have 35 minutes, 40 minutes at the most. But just so everybody knows, there is an administrative services meeting after this. It will not go past 7:15, but this committee of the whole meeting is adjourned.